our customers in the LDCs, which is really where the fastest growth is taking place today in our business. I heard some really wise comments from some of the other presenters today, and I just want to touch upon them a little bit. Vim talked about how it's about business models. It's not about IP. It really is. There are an infinite number of ways that you can exploit IP assets and use them to generate value within a company. And this is really where our business leaders are constantly beating us over the head in our company. They're like, "What have you done for us today?" And we see this with governments quite a lot as well. Governments come to their IP offices and said, "What value have you created for us today that helps us drive prosperity, helps us bring new products to market in our countries?" And so, at GE, IP really does remain a bit of a back office operation, and that means that we're a service operation, and we're really about being a tool to help achieve results for the business. And I think it makes sense that when we're looking at it from a policy perspective as well, we should have the humility to realize that IP is a tool. And it's a tool that can be used to achieve all kinds of objectives that are consistent with the Millennium Development Goals. Whatever you want to do, IP properly deployed is a great way to help you get there. Tech transfer is something that people talk about a lot, and there are paradigms for tech transfer that are repeated in Geneva over and over again. This mantra of we're not getting technology transfer. Developing countries with the tech transfer begging bowl, I call it. Why aren't we getting more tech transfer? That's not the way it works. Tech transfer is not something that goes from government to government. Tech transfer, no matter what the TRIPS agreement says, is something that moves between private enterprises. And it moves between private enterprises in multi-directional ways today. So as you see there, technology is going from China to the United States and into Europe. And economic value is going back to China to help create jobs in China. And the same thing happens to India. We transfer technology around the world, and the internet allows us to do that. And the intellectual property system allows us to have the confidence to know that we can operate in a fairly open innovation environment and know that our expectations about what we hope to do with a particular R&D investment will be met. So, for example, in China and India, we're working with external partners a lot. That means we work with government labs, we work with SMEs who are playing an important part in that ecosystem, in that market. I think Vim gave some very good examples of how big companies come up to SMEs and look at that technology. We often use the patent system as a way of identifying those opportunities because the patent system creates transparency with respect to technology. Sometimes we're going to just go in and buy the company and make it a bolt-on acquisition. But oftentimes we're going to provide them with money, buy options to get further involved in that technology, creating benchmarks that if they reach, we will get deeper into the deal. But so it's not just about this sort of 1950s paradigm of which really did lack transparency, and there was quite a lot of people talk about IP hoarding. There was some semblance of technology hoarding during that period, in part because it was so expensive to share technology. The transaction costs for sharing technical information were very high. That's not the case any longer today. And because of the evolution of the IP system beyond the borders of just the United States and in Europe, we feel very comfortable investing in many developing emerging market environments, working with engineers in those environments who really do understand well the needs of their customers in that particular context. Obviously, in the climate change side, we've been, we're really involved in every aspect of the energy generation value chain, from wind turbines to nuclear to gas turbines that really reflect incremental innovation. I mean, a lot of this is about 15% greater efficiency compared to the previous generation of technology available out there. The kinds of disruptive discovery type innovation that we see to a greater degree perhaps in the pharmaceutical industry are quite elusive in the green technology space. Most of what we're talking about is improvements on previous technology. Those improvements will be patented, but there will often be a number of other technological solutions for dealing with that particular problem that tends to keep prices fairly low. The risk is probably less than in the pharmaceutical area, but it's still a very IP-dependent way of doing business. I thought that, Robert's points about having to do it local, that's the way business is done today. You may have a big R&D operation in the United States, but if you're going to expect to sell to those customers that really reflect growth for your company, you've got to be involved in their market. You've got to spend a lot of time understanding those customers and developing products that from the very outset are aimed at satisfying those particular needs or technological challenges. And of course, at GE, we patent this technology. I mean, that is the way we do business. That's the way we've done business for a very long time. I think this last year, we filed 2,500 patents, and we maintain an active portfolio of about 40,000 patents. Now, we call that portfolio on a regular basis because patent protection is expensive, and we can't afford to keep every right in existence throughout in all the markets that we're doing business in for the full length of time that we might hope to do that. We're constantly reviewing the portfolio to make sure that the patents that we have today are relating to particular products or services that are out there on the market or ones that we're hoping to bring to the market in the future. So just, I guess my final points here are, one, we're in the tech transfer business, and I think we're all in the tech transfer business. If we don't transfer our technology in some way that's sustainable and that makes commercial sense, we're out of business. So the myth that somehow the incentive is to hoard technology is just that. It's a myth. Patents allow you to prevent opportunistic or parasitic behavior, but that's only one way that we're going to use those rights. They're also the currency that allow us to take rights that otherwise would have just remained sort of intangible altogether, transfer them to other people, build upon them, build businesses around them, and create value chains from those rights. So we share those rights with our customers through sales, through licensing agreements. We share them with our suppliers by making sure that they have access to the technology that they need to provide us with the inputs that we need to build, for example, a wind turbine, an immensely complicated technological feat that includes materials technology, IT technology, all kinds of other domains of technology as well. And really what we're doing is we're bringing it all together in a way that is suitable for the needs of our customers given their particular circumstances in the market in which we're seeking to bring that technology. And then finally, I want to emphasize again that, for us, IP is really just a tool. It's not an end unto itself. There's been a lot of debates in this town over the years about IP, commercial rights, patent rights versus patient rights versus human rights. It's not an either-or proposition. These kinds of rights are really meant to help patients. These rights are meant to help people achieve the kinds of dignity that they're looking for that is often talked about in UN conventions. And we see them as fully consistent with the need to achieve those kinds of goals that are often talked about in this town. So thank you very much.